Good evening, folks. This is Jacob Folger, artist sculptor, and today we are going to make this frog start to finish, just like you see here, from air dry clay. It will cover every detail of the creation of this piece, including the faux aged bronze, patina, or verdigris finish, also known as verdigris. And all the details will be in the video. Please give the video a like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get a notification when I upload. And thank you so much. Let's get started. Okay, I've got all the toes on. You can see how I did that. Yep, they're all crossing and everything. Yeah, I like that. Tree frogs have, I mean, their toes are like that. They're awesome. And they all kind of section cup toes, really cool. So now at this point, I want to talk about smoothing, especially on a piece like this with all these toes. It's really good to, of course, scoring, wetting and scoring is very important with something like this. But also smoothing is. Smoothing, smoothing clay is an important part of adding structural integrity to the piece that you made. Get a brush. You want it damp. You don't want it soaking wet, but you want to go in between the toes, and actually go in and look very closely as you're doing it. Okay, if I can bring this up to you, and try to fill in. Use the brush to kind of fill in and blend the toes into the stone and into each other. Because that will add strength to it. It'll make it a lot more solid. You don't want the toes breaking off. Now, this clay that I'm using, this is Marblex, and I do recommend definitely that you use this clay for a project like this, especially, because it dries very, very hard, and will last a long time. And but you have to do a good job of constructing it. So it's worth it to take the time and just go in and spend a lot of time going around those toes and kind of blending them into each other. And then I'm going to take a small paintbrush, get the majority of the water off of it, and spend a little bit of time smoothing that. And I do want to say, you know, you guys, take your time on the smoothing. When somebody just sent me a picture, I'm not going to say your name, but it was obvious. I mean, you did a beautiful job on that sculpture, and I'm really impressed, but you know what? I could see clearly you didn't take the time to smooth it out and make it really nice, and you could have done that. Now it's all dry, and, well, it's too late now. So, take the time. I do not, if you think I make these sculptures in an hour, it's not, no, I don't. I'm showing you how I sculpt a piece. I show you a lot of what I'm doing, but off screen, I am spending a lot of time on these pieces. They take hours and hours and hours. Don't think that when I do a tutorial that I'm taking an hour to make this thing. The tutorial might be an hour, but I might have spent days. Who knows? I mean, I spent a lot of time on these pieces. So, yeah, I think I never thought about it too much before. But then after this person sent me a picture the other night, the tutorial was 40 minutes long, and it looks like she spent 40 minutes on the sculpture. I mean, it's a nice sculpture she did, but I mean, it was obvious that she didn't spend hours and hours on it because it was rough. So, take the time, take the time. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to finish it. I do have a little bit more smoothing to do. I want to tell you I checked him, and he was he was really kind of unstable on the rock, so I added clay on the back to make it more stable, so check for that. I also took my ball tool and went around the stone and just textured it like that, and sometimes when you do that, little bits of clay kind of develop and muck it up a little bit, and you can just press them in like that. You also can texture and use a brush with some water on it and brush it a little bit with water, and then texture it a little bit and brush it a little bit with water and just play with it like that. So that is something you can do. And I also recommend, since it's a stone and you want it to look like a stone, you can take your a tool like this and just kind of push in on the bottom here to kind of round the bottom at the edges. and it's a little bit, makes it look a little bit more realistic as far as the stone goes, because, you know, stones aren't always completely flat. So yeah, and so we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a little bit more smoothing, but now with this clay Marblex, over the years I've learned that you can heat the surface in the oven, warm setting, for about a half hour, and dry it out enough to do a finish on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't recommend doing that for hours on end. Don't do that. I mean, a half hour would be fine, but you don't want to just dry it out completely in the oven. You want to have give it some opportunity to cure on its own. So I wouldn't do that, for a long period of time. I'm saying maybe a half hour at the most, and on a warm setting, not on 250, not on 350, not like that. A warm setting for about a half hour. And then we'll come back and start the finish. Okay, I'm back with the frog, who I decided to name Rocky. I did a frog like him about 20 years ago, sitting on a real rock, and then I made a mold of it, and I sold it to the garden centers, along with a whole bunch of other sculptures that I made. And I still have Rocky, still looking good, and so I was kind of inspired to do another one. That's why I did this one, pretty much. That was what was on my mind. Anyways, so we're going to do a faux bronze verdigris or green patina finish. And the first thing we need to do is paint him black, using Studio Series acrylic in deep black. You could use other paints, and I do recommend a flat or matte finish. This is matte, a matte finish. If your brush is a little damp, it's a good idea, have it a little bit wet, and get some paint on your brush and start painting him. You want to work it into all the details. You really have to look at it from every direction while you're doing that, because it's real easy to miss spots, and you don't want to miss any. So yeah, and do that, and do 2 coats, and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back with Rocky, and he is black, and now we're going to start the second part of our finish. I've got Utrecht Studio Series acrylic paint in bright aqua green here. I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet and pull some over to this area over here and just get it wet. And then I'm going to paint it on. And I want to work it into all the detail. I want to get all the detail. Cover the whole sculpture. I'll be right back. Okay, Rocky is green. And, it's very important when you're doing this finish to get all these recessed areas. That you definitely want to get all the detail. Don't worry about him being all green. We're going to fix that just now. And one other thing I'd like to add is sometimes bronze, when it gets old and is not really cared for, it takes on kind of a powdery appearance. If you want to achieve that finish, you can just use a totally flat paint, and it will have a powdery appearance. This paint that I'm using here is a matte finish, so it's not powdery like that. So that's just a tip for you if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. So now we're going to take a dry brush, dry. We're going to get a little black paint on it. And then we're going to dab it off on like a paper towel. I got a paper towel here. I'm going to dab it off. And then I'm just going to go over the sculpture and highlight it. I'm not looking, because I don't want to fill in all those green parts. I just want to highlight the sculpture. And obviously the toes are very important because I want that to really stand out. And that's where all the black areas is where the bronze is going to go. So I want that to, I want the toes to stand out. I don't want them to be, I want that roundness, the suction cup look. I want to be able to see that. So I'm paying attention to how I apply it. This like recessed area in here, I don't want to fill that. I just want to just gently go over it with the black. And I will tell you this, just to kind of fill you in, I do this finish different almost every time. Okay? So you may have seen me do this finish before in another tutorial somewhere on my channel. It won't be the same as this. Okay? I'm an artist and I'm constantly creating and coming up with new ideas. And as I do, I often share them here on my channel. I have never done it this way before. Okay? Let's see how it turns out. I don't want my brush inundated with paint. I just want it to be kind of dry, and I want to just highlight the high points. And I'm going to do that and then come back. So you got the idea, right? Okay. So, this is the kind of look I'm trying to achieve. This is what bronze looks like when it gets old. Now, I'm going to take it a little bit further and do some bronze highlighting with Pearl Pigments in a little bit here. But I want to show you this. If you go on too heavy with the black, have your green handy. And, you know, just dry brush it and play with it. It's kind of it's an art form. This is an art form. This is not, hopefully I can give you enough information so that you'll be able to do this yourself through this tutorial. But really, this took years for me to be able to figure out playing with it, doing different ideas, doing, you know, playing with it artistically for a long time. And every time I do this finish, I learn something and I apply it the next time I do it. So that's why it's different pretty much every time I do it. It's always a little bit different. So you kind of have to go back and forth and you get this look. So you see it here. This is what you're looking for. And this would, a lot of people would consider this finished now. It's done. But I want to make it really pop. I want to make it really, really pretty, so I'm going to add some bronze. And we're going to do that in a few minutes. Okay, now I'm going to use Johnson's Paste Wax and Pearl X Pigments and Antique Bronze. I've got the bronze in a lid here, like that. And I'm going to get a little bit of wax on my finger. Once I get it on my finger, I'm going to swirl it with my thumb. And then I'm going to get a little bronze on my finger like that. And I'm going to swirl that with my thumb. And I'm just going to lightly go over it and highlight the parts that I want to be in the bronze. And for me, I like a subdued look. I want to see that marble look. I want to see the black. I want to see the green. I don't make it super bright. I'm just, it's very kind of antique look. That's what I'm trying to achieve. Just gently highlighting it. And I go around and do the whole sculpture like that. You can use the thumb too if you want. And then after we do that, we'll come back in a few minutes and I'll show you how it will look. We're going to do something else that will really make it pop in a few minutes. Okay, before I complete it, the finish, I'm going to get some wax on my brush and I'm going to go over the sculpture again. Now, this is, again, Johnson's Paste Wax. I've used it for many years. It's a very durable, hard finish when it cures. It takes roughly 10 minutes to cure. And no, you don't have to seal it. If you seal it, it won't look as good. I wouldn't seal it. Put a lacquer or anything on it. It's just going to take away from, and you'll see why in a few minutes when we finish it, complete it. So I just want to go over the sculpture and just to reinforce the first application of wax, and then we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, the final part of this finish is to take a soft cloth and gently rub the sculpture. Keep in mind that Johnson's Paste Wax is a paste wax, and that's the idea behind it, is to put a really beautiful sheen on your sculpture or whatever you have that you're trying to finish. And when you go over it gently with the cloth, it also makes the bronze shimmer in the light. And it's very pretty. Again, the wax is a very hard finish. This is not going to rub or wear off, but it is an indoor finish. This is for indoor use. Enjoyment. And there you go. Okay, Rocky is finished and done. And just do some close-up views of him for you. Okay, that's it for the tutorial. I hope you got lots out of it, and I hope you will make a frog of your own. And if you do, please send me a picture. You can email me. My email address is in the About section on my channel at Jake Folger. You also can message me through Facebook, and if you look at the top of my channel page, you'll see a link for that. You also will find a link for it in the video description below the video. And I would love to see what you do with it. Take your time. Keep in mind that I did not make this in an hour, okay? I did not. Or however long this video is. It took a lot longer than that. I just didn't record all of it, but I recorded enough to give you information so that you can make your own. So take your time and do a really good job on your piece. I'm sure you'll do wonderful. Please give the video a like, share it with your friends and family, and maybe on social media if you're on a platform you like. And leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of Rocky. Did you like the tutorial? And if you have any questions, leave them there. I will reply. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification when I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.